Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. Today we will be discussing from Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 2, text 12. Natvevaham jatu nasam natvam neme janadhipaha nachaiva na bhavishyamaha sarve vayam matah param. Now Krishna, having chastised Arjuna in the previous verse, "O Arjuna, you spoke like a pandita, but in reality you are not acting like a pandita because you are lamenting for that something which you should not lament for." So, and now Krishna starts to give the knowledge, real knowledge. So he says here, is one of the most important shlokas, Natu eva aham jatu nasam. Aham means I, Krishna. There was never a time when I did not exist. Na jatu nasam. Similarly, all these kings and you, Tvam, ime janadhipaha. There was never a time when we did not exist. And na chaivana bhavishyamaha. There will never be a time when we cease to exist. Sarve vayam matah param. That means, O Arjuna, there will never be a time, nor was there ever a time when we ceased to exist. We always existed. I existed, you existed, these things existed, as no, they are existing now, and they will continue to exist in the future. That means, as spirit souls, we are eternal. The spirit cannot be killed. Krishna will mention that in the next few verses. They may be present in this kind of a body. When they are killed, they will get another kind of a body. But they will continue to exist. So this is one of the most important shlokas of Bhagavad Gita, where the impersonalism is refuted emphatically. What is impersonalism? So if you see Srila Prabhupada's pranam mantra, we chant Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine. So I'll focus on the last portion. This is the pranam mantra of our Acharya Srila Prabhupada. In the last line it is said, Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine. Paschatya Desha means the Western countries. Tarine, he is delivering. From what? Nirvisesha and Shunyavadi. It's predominated by, these Western countries are predominated by these two tattvas, these two philosophies, or these two kinds of believers. Who are they? The impersonalists, who are called Nirvisesha, and the voidists, or Shunyavadi. Voidists are also Buddhists. Sometimes there are many other religions who also believe in voidism, like Buddhism. They all come under voidism. Means they say that the body is constructed with these different elements, earth, water, air, fire, ether. And when the body dies, they all go and disintegrate and go and mix into these individual elements. And nothing exists after that. We are only there together for time being, and then after that it gets disintegrated and nothing exists. Nothing, void. No spirit, soul, nothing. No God, nothing. This is voidism, which is of course not authorized according to Vedic scriptures. And then there is impersonalism, Nirvisesha, which means they say that there is spirit soul, but it does not have a form. Nirvisesha. And everybody's spirit soul appears different now because we all have different bodies, but they are all one. And God also is a spirit, He is also one with all of us. So when we die, the spirit soul goes and merges into that God spirit, and everything again becomes one. So they say that actually everything is one spirit, just like Akash. This Akasha, it's like one uniform entity, isn't it? But you place some pots, mud pots with different sizes pots, different colors, and these mud pots appear different. And there is also air, Akasha is there within the pot captured. So that appears to be different because of its size, shape, color, so on and so forth. So the same Akasha is there within the pot. So when the pot breaks, that Akasha goes and merges into the total Akasha. So this is their philosophy. They say that there is only one uniform Akasha or spirit, and all of us are appearing different because of our bodies, but we are all one with the universal spirit, and that we call as God. In other words, we are one with God. We don't have separate identity. And that God, that impersonal, that God is also impersonal. There is no form. These people are called impersonalists, Nirvisesha. And Prabhupada has Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. He is delivering all these people from their imperfect theories. How Prabhupada is delivering? By giving Bhagavad Gita as it is. And what does Bhagavad Gita say? It refutes this impersonalism. Krishna here emphatically refuting. Never was there a time when we did not exist. I did not exist. You did not exist. Never was there a time. And now also we are existing individually. And in the future, Bhavishyamaha also we exist. That means eternally we are separate, we are individuals. We will never go and become merged and lose our independence, individuality. Sometimes the impersonalists, they give the argument that when the waters of the river, they go and merge into the ocean, all the water become one with the ocean water. There is no separate identity then. But our philosophy is that, yes, the waters of the river go and merge into the ocean, but our merging is like the fish in the river going and becoming a fish in the ocean. It's not that the fish loses its identity and individuality. The fish and goes and merges into the ocean water, but it does not lose its individuality and become one with the ocean. The fish remains a fish, but in the larger ocean. Similarly, we remain individuals even after liberation. It's just that we go to the spiritual world with our original spiritual bodies. It's not that the soul does not have a body. The soul has the body. But unfortunately, we have been conditioned. I remember in my childhood, I used to see these old movies where when somebody dies, the soul is like they show a light, Jyoti, going and merging into the Jyoti of God. Of course, Krishna will allow that if your desire is like that, because God satisfies all your desires. If you want to go and merge and lose your identity, Krishna will allow that. Okay, you come and join my impersonal effulgence, but you cannot stay there like that because you are a jiva, you are an independent individual jiva, you want some action. If I put you in a room, even for one full day, you will go mad because you want interaction. The impersonalists, they try to annihilate their existence because they think that individuality is problematic. All the problems come from my diseases, the kleshas, the difficulties we see in this world is because we have this body. And if I lose the body and I become spirit and I lose my individuality, there is no problem. This is their way of eradicating problems. But then you cannot remain in inactivity for a long time. You want action. That spirit soul. Nahi kaschit kshanamapi jatu tishtati akarma krit karyate hi avashah karma. Krishna says in third chapter. Even for a moment, we cannot remain inactive. Even our body may not move, but our mind is always active. The soul is always active because that is the nature of the spirit soul. Nahi kaschit kshanamapi jatu tishtati. So, for want of spiritual activity, we will fall back to material activity again. So, even if you go and merge, even Krishna allows you, you will want to come back and do something again in this material world. You again get a material body. So, better than that, going and merging into Krishna is going into the spiritual world and serve Krishna with our spiritual body. We will get our spiritual body when we want to serve Krishna. Here in this world, we have this material body, which is subject to destruction, subject to old age, disease, asesha rujam viroha. But inside us, we have spirit soul, which has got a spiritual body. This body, the external body we see is like a dress. Just like you go to a tailor and you take a cloth, hey, can you stitch this for me? And then he takes the measurements of your shoulders, your hands, your waist, and so on and so forth. And the cloth is molded and shaped and stitched. And it appears, when you wear it, it appears like you. It got its shape because of your shape. Similarly, this matter is nothing but dead matter. Earth, water, air, fire, ether. It's dead matter. But it is shaped according to your desires because there is spirit soul within and it appears to be having a form. So, like that, the spirit soul has a form, and when it becomes liberated at the time of death, when it thinks of Krishna, wants to serve Krishna, goes back to Krishna Loka, and then continues to serve Krishna in that spiritual form. That is real liberation. But the impersonalists, they cannot understand this. They say that, oh, ultimately we are impersonal and liberation means go and merging into the impersonal Brahman. So how Krishna is refuting that? Simply saying, we will never become one with each other. We will always remain individuals. Natvevaham jatunasam natvam neme janadipa. Eternal individuality. So then the Mayavadis or the impersonalists, that's another name for the impersonalist, Mayavadi, they say that this individuality exists only in a conditioned state. Conditioned state means in this material world, we are all conditioned. Just like I said, these pots exist, different shapes, different colors. It exists only in this material world. In the spiritual world, there is no, when you become merged, there is no conditioned state. So individuality refers only to this material world or in the conditioned state. But then the refutation of that is Krishna clearly is stating here that individuality of the Lord and the living entities, he is saying in the future also, Bhavishyamaha, in the future also we will remain individuals. That means even if one becomes liberated, Krishna is assuring here they will remain individual. One may say, individuality is material, not spiritual. It's a similar point. Then Prabhupada mentions, how can we distinguish Krishna's individuality? Let's say you're saying, okay, individuality, because we are material beings, we appear individual. But Krishna is not material. Krishna is also confirming, I also remain individual. I was individual in the past, I am individual now, and I will also be individual in the future. If they say, oh, Krishna is an ordinary conditioned soul, then what is the use of studying Bhagavad Gita? Isn't it? If Bhagavad Gita is like an ordinary book, why Bhagavad Gita we are studying? Everybody studies Bhagavad Gita. We take an oath on Bhagavad Gita. All philosophers, the modern as well as the Vedic philosophers, including the impersonalists, Mayavadis, they accept the authority of Bhagavad Gita. That which is without defect, absolute. Why? If Krishna was an ordinary conditioned soul, why should we accept the authority of any book from a conditioned soul? As I have discussed earlier, conditioned soul means has 4 defects. Any conditioned soul you see, they will have 4 defects, however great he may be in this world, including Lord Brahma. What are these 4 defects? Our senses are imperfect. We are illusioned. We commit mistakes. And we have a tendency to cheat. Everybody, they can understand that these 4 defects they have. But Krishna is not like that. If anybody has these 4 defects, what is the use of studying their philosophy? It will be prone to the defects. They cannot see everything with their defective senses. They cannot understand this world with their defective senses. So God cannot be defective. So the impersonalists, they claim that, oh, Krishna, when he comes, he accepts a material body. Because they have to prove that God ultimately has no form. And they cannot contemplate a spiritual form. They say, oh, this form is material form. When the impersonal Brahmajyoti comes into this material world, he accepts a material form. So Krishna's form also is material. That's why he is saying he is individual. Then what is the use of studying Bhagavad Gita? So that is why Krishna's form is not material. And the important thing is, Krishna, just in the previous verse, he condemned bodily conception. Isn't it? Those who are wise, they don't lament for living nor dead. Isn't it? Gatasun agatasumscha nanusochanti panditaha. So having condemned the bodily concept, why will Krishna refer to the bodily concept again as individuals? No. That is why this verse emphatically refutes the impersonalism. If you objectively study, if you don't have any agenda, you will come to the understanding from Bhagavad Gita that Bhagavad Gita refutes impersonalism. So, one time, Srila Prabhupada, he was talking to his disciples. They were sitting closer to a freeway, and then he sees these cars zipping past 100 miles an hour. And then Prabhupada told them, see, these cars, they are going fast, but where are they going? They are going so fast in one direction, only to come back in another direction. And then he told a small story of the poet Kalidas in his earlier days. So this Kalidas, small incident. So he's sitting on the edge of a tree, on the tree branch he was sitting, and he had a saw, he was cutting that branch. On the same branch he was sitting, he was sawing that branch. So one passerby, he was passing that area and he came and he saw this thing happening and he warned him, hey, what are you doing? If you keep sawing, you will fall down. And then this Kalidas, he started to criticize that man. Hey, mind your own business. So why are you speaking nonsense. You go and do your own business. Let me mind my own business. And then Kalidas kept sawing. And then we know what happened after that. Of course, he falls. And then he realizes, oh, this man must be very knowledgeable, very learned. And then he ran to him, that passerby, and then he started to tell him, hey, how did you know that I would fall? Are you an astrologer? So, so Prabhupada said, that is the definition of a rascal. That means anybody can figure out that he's going to fall, but he doesn't know about it. So these cars, they're going so fast, a spiritual person can easily figure out why he is doing this nonsense. Where is he going without purpose? He does not know where he is going. He's going to fall down. He's going to meet miseries in this material world. And when a passerby, like a spiritual master, comes and tells, and these people are not willing to listen. The spiritual master comes and says, this modern civilization based on cow killing, innocent cow killing, and technology is doomed. If you continue like this, it will fall. But they won't listen. And then Prabhupada said, this world based on technology is ruining everything for sense gratification. And the other thing he said, the Mayavadi philosophy also, it is ruining. How it is ruining? The Mayavadi comes and says, I am God, you are God, everybody is God. It doesn't matter what I do. All paths are same. You take any path. A simple if you buy a ticket to some place, say you are in Hyderabad, you bought a ticket to Delhi in the flight. Will you go to Delhi or will you go to Bangalore? No. If you follow one path, you will achieve the result of that path. Not that every path, it doesn't matter. People say like this, isn't it? Because of this nonsense. The Mayavadis bring up this nonsense. It doesn't matter what path you follow, everything leads to the same end. No, that is not Bhagavad Gita's teaching. That is not commonsensical. Nor the philosophy that everybody is God. So, this is the philosophy. Not everybody is God. Only Krishna is God. Prabhupada is quoting this Upanishad statement, Katha Upanishad statement. Nityo nityanam chetanas chetananam eko bahunam yo vidadhati kaman. God is individual, we are individuals. God is eternal, we are eternals. Then what is the difference? If God is eternal, God is individual, we are also individual, I am also eternal. What is the difference? The difference is eko bahunam yo vidadhati kaman. That individual, that chief individual is maintaining and providing the necessities of every other individuals. That means we are infinitesimal. We are part and parcel of God. Just like God is like the fire, we are the sparks of the fire. But the difference is we are also individuals. God is also individual. But He is the most powerful individual. So in order to understand this, one needs to go to the right person, right guru. If you go to a wrong guru, you will get taught, oh, everybody is God. One has to go to the right guru. So one devotee asked Srila Prabhupada, so Prabhupada, there are many people, they are proclaiming themselves as guru and they are speaking about God, how you can be God, we are all God. So how one may tell who is actual guru? So Prabhupada, he firmly condemned those who declare themselves to be God, as well as those who believe them. And he said a person, a layman, should know what he is looking for in order to avoid being cheated. Like if you want to go to a school to study, you have to at least know where is the school, what is the school, what is the school like, what do they teach, how do I enroll. If you don't even know, you will go to a grocery store or a supermarket and look for a school because you don't know. So you should know at least some basics. Who is God? God is not a cheap God who has to run to a doctor if he gets a toothache. God's body never becomes old or diseased. God never has to undergo the loss of material nature. God creates the universe. God can do superhuman activities with his so called ordinary body because he's not ordinary. So if somebody claims their God, your God, you must prove whether you created the universe. Can you show your universal form? Where is your superhuman activities? Why are you going to doctor when you get a toothache? So God has become so cheap, and people, because they don't know how to understand whom to understand from, everybody is getting cheated. If you don't know, people are available to cheat you. And people take advantage of these innocent people and get worshipped. And they also say, oh, you don't need to go to anybody and surrender. Everybody is guru. And then the question is, then why are you teaching? If everybody is guru, if everybody is God, why are you acting like a guru and want people to surrender to you? Stop preaching, no? So these are all the weaknesses, fallacies of their philosophy, of an impersonalistic philosophy. So we should not fall for it. We should take the pure words of Krishna as told as it is in the disciplic succession represented by Srila Prabhupada, and then we can understand properly who we are, what is the purpose of life, who is God, so on and so forth. I'll stop here. Anyone has any questions or comments, you can unmute yourselves now. Bhagavad Gita as it is ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.